Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our role play slash presentation for our external. My group members and I will be going through both a presentation and a role play of an HR department, doing policy reviews, as well as going through how we go get this done, what steps needs to be taken. So, starting from the top, my group members are Karelle Jones, Craig Goffe, Daina-Lee Edwards, and Kellyanne Williams-Harridon. So, we're an HR team. Up our title for our presentation, Updated HR Policy Proposals. Subtitle, Supporting Peer Technologies Expansion. Peer Technologies being our parent company, the company which we are supporting. So this is presented to our Executive Management Committee. So I thank you guys, members of our Board of Directors, for allowing us to be here. Thank you, Mr. Managing Director. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Thank you, CFO. Thank you, guys. Now, this is presented by primarily our Senior HR Director, Ms. Karelle Jones, myself, Craig Goff. I am the HR Director. I know some of you guys know me. You probably don't meet me that often. And Ms. Daina-Lee Edwards, our talented Employee Relations Director, and Mrs. Kellyanne Williams-Harridon, our Talent Development Director, all supporting the HR function uh, to grow our company. Now, let's do a brief introduction. I know you're seeing these faces every day. Our again, our senior HR director, our HR director, Miss Edwards, our employee relations director, and Mrs. Harridon, our talent director. Now, the agenda for this is one, we will be discussing our company. We'll going through some benefits. We'll go through performance reviews. We're going through our policies and summarizing the required paperwork, the required steps. So it's interactive, guys. Feel free to stop us if you're not sure. Feel free to interrupt us. We're here to ensure that you guys fully understand why we need this expansion and why we need these policies to grow our business. Now, what is the mission here at Peer? So our mission here at Peer Technologies is to cultivate a dynamic and inclusive workplace that empowers our employees to thrive and contribute to company success. We are committed to fostering a culture of collaboration, innovation, and continuous improvement, whilst ensuring compliance with all legal and ethical standards through effective recruitment, development, engagement strategies. We aim to attract and retain top talent, driving organizational growth and excellence. At Peer, we are people with a vision. And our vision here at Peer Technologies is to be recognized as the leading employer of choice in our industry, known for our commitment to employee development, diversity, and a positive workplace culture. We aspire to create an environment where every team member feels valued, inspired, and motivated to achieve their full potential. By aligning our human resource practices with our strategic goals, we will drive sustainable growth and make a meaningful impact in the competitive market. Handing over to our employee relations director to give you a bit about the purpose of this updated policy.
All right, so good night, everyone. So, the purpose of this updated HR policy at Peer Technology is to establish a comprehensive framework that supports the company's growth and strategic objectives during a period of significant workforce expansion and organizational changes. So, this strategy aims to create a cohesive and inclusive work environment that fosters employee engagement, enhances performance, ensure compliance with applicable laws and regulation. So, by updating and implementing our HR policies, we seek to align our human resource practices with the company's vision, promote a culture of accountability and collaboration, and also to facilitate the successful integration of new employees into the organization. All right, so we will go through the following key aspects: the importance of aligning HR strategy with peer technologies expansion, HR policy updates, and legal compliance of peer technologies, step-by-step implementation plan of the updated policies, SMART goals for leadership and workforce motivation at peer technologies, managing change, conflict, and workforce alignment at peer technologies, tracking progress and measuring success of the implementation of the updated policies at Peer Technology. So now I'll be handing over to Mr. Goff to give you some more information on the company policies.
Thank you very much for that, Dana. Now, guys, we are going over our policies, and we have to ensure that we adhere to our company's policies. We have to keep track of our time. We treat everyone with respect. We report workplace incidents, and we review our employee handbook. Right? But in the essence of us reviewing or updating our policies, I would be remiss if I did not remind us of the process for updating policies. Now, our approval process is quite simple. To ensure alignment with company goals and compliance with legal standards, the following approval process will be followed for each policy. Now, step one is HR manager review, meaning the HR manager will review and draft the policy updates, ensuring alignment with the organizational needs, best practices, and employee goals. Once the HR manager has completed, they'll submit to the legal and compliance head for review. Step two, that is our step two. Our head of legal and compliance has to review, will ensure the documents, rather the updated policies follow all relevant laws and anti-discrimination regulations. Now that is very key. We also have to follow the data protection laws in our industry because we have the new Data Protection Act that has been passed, and we have to ensure that we are following this. So any necessary revisions will be made to ensure legal soundness. Step three is for board approval. After legal review, the unalterable version of the policy updates will be submitted to the board of directors, that is yourself or executive management committee, for review and approval. And our step four for the approval, once the board approves, the updated policy will be communicated across the organization, and training will be provided for new employees and managers on the new guidelines. So we have to keep in mind the four steps that we have to take to ensure legal soundness in our policies. Now, we spoke about the strategic alignment with peer technologies goals. Now, the importance of aligning with the strategic goals. One, scalability and flexibility for recruitment and training. Now, what does that mean? Scalability, we are growing, we're expanding. We need to ensure that once we're expanding, we're maintaining quality, we're maintaining our vigor, we're maintaining our market share, we're not um, falling by the wayside. The flexibility for recruitment and training, we need to be able to train employees when needed. We need to be able to recruit additional personnel when needed, not being restricted by rigid guidelines, not being restricted by outdated policy documents that may not really work with our area. Now, for legal and compliance across regions, as Peer Technology is one of the leading companies in the world, similar to a company like Nestle, we have to ensure that we are legally compliant. Now, our internal bylaws are more strict than the local laws. We have to ensure that, one, we're adhering to the laws of the country, meaning the labor laws, the data protection laws, the Minimum Wage Act. We need to ensure that we are all being uniformed. Now, cultural alignment amongst diverse teams. Jamaica has been called the melting pot of the Caribbean. So we know we have different persons from different diverse backgrounds, different cultures all mixing, and our employees are the same. We have to ensure that our policies, our goals align with this, not discriminating or not infringing on any of our employees' cultural norms or cultural rights. Enhanced employee retention strategies. What does that mean? Right? just throwing it out there, what does that mean for us at Peer? Now, employee retention is integral for any company. We have to ensure that our turnover rate is low, we're retaining our team, we're not suffering from brain drain, right? And that really will support our long-term strategic objectives, because if you keep your talent and your talent is then used to train the future, you're able to grow together, you're able to push forward. Your policies will be there as the guidelines, the tools, and the stepping stones that our employees, our managers, our leaders will need to grow and move forward. So, handing over to Mrs. Harridon, who will touch on a few key policy updates.
Good night, everyone. My apologies for my voice, but if you check the documents in front of you, you can go through it while I go along, and you'll see where we speak on the recruitment and the onboarding policy. Now, with this, the objective for this is to attract and retain the best talent while aligning recruitment effort for with Pear Tree technology strategies, growth, objectives. And some of these policy guidelines are the standard recruitment process, which the recruitment process will follow a clearly defined standardized set of procedures to ensure fairness and consistency, such as a structured interview process and relevant pre-employment testing. So all roles will have job descriptions that acquires flexible and responsible requirements, and the role aligned with the company's mission. Now, the diversity inclusion with Peer Technology is committed to attracting candidates from diverse backgrounds to promote a cultural inclusion, and recruitments will comply with an anti-discrimination law and focus on creating an equitable process for all applicants. And the onboarding process now, a comprehensive onboarding process will ensure new hires are well equipped with the knowledge and the resource needed to success. So new hire will be introduced to Peer Technologies, company values, and T dynamics with clear expectations set for performance and behaviors. Let me share some.
Question, Miss Harridon. Just a
Yes,
question, Miss Harridon.
sure.
What makes this new updated policy different from the policy that we had at Peer?
Yeah, because we it will prevent this new one gives new hire satisfaction. We have employees retention where we monitor retention rate for new employees after 6 months to assist the success of the onboarding process. The new hire
Good.
satisfaction, we use surveys and we assess how well hires feel integrated in the company, as well as we qualify the quality of the hires, where we measure the performance of our new hires against the predefined success indicators.
Perfect. I like it so far. I like the new update so far. Good job.
Sure. Yes, we're working on it very much so. All
Why,
right.
the only thing me really want to know about are the money, because we know so with all of these updates, money must have update too.
All right. Let us talk about that now. So with the compensation and the benefits, we haven't fully completed this as yet, but we are in the making. So not to worry, we are working on the competitive packages to tailor and regain the market, regionalize the market, and adhere to wages and labor regulation. So within
Love
um
that. Love
yeah,
that.
just give us around two weeks to fully clear this off, and then we will go ahead and get it approved, and it will be implemented soon.
Okay, that
Like that.
sounds good.
Like that. Like that.
Yes.
Not bad. Not bad. Not
So,
bad.
sure, we are working to make sure that everybody feels comfortable within the workplace.
Yeah,
All right, so
thank you
I'll
very
now
much.
hand over to Mrs. Jones, so she will further elaborate.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Harridan. And as you would have heard Mrs. Harridan speaking about the benefits and the new update to the policy, and I see that it caught eyes on a lot of persons, including Mr. Goffe, most of the times we like to tease him to say he's all about the money, but
The monitor.
Mrs. Harridan managed to bring a smile on his face.
Yes.
No, no, no. How can we ensure that Mr. Goff is getting paid for the work that he's actually doing? And to ensure that even Mrs. Edwards and Mrs. Harridan herself are getting paid for the quality work, and to ensure that they're up to par with the mission and the vision of peer technologies, which are aligned to the company's policies. Now, we will have a performance management. We will be implementing the performance management appraisal system, which has never been implemented in the company before. Now, this will be a structured review site. We will have structured review cycles, development, succession, and this would also be a part of our non-discriminatory evaluation process, in which persons know you won't have to be thinking that you're working and we don't see your value, because your supervisor will be provided with what we call key performance indicator, which is the KPI. This will be implemented to match your progress as it relates to the work and the task that will be assigned to you. So don't worry about to say that you get up every day coming to work and you're not getting paid and you're not being recognized, because the compensation package also aligns with the performance management package. No.
Question for you, Miss Jones, since you're here, because a lot of people don't like me now, and I know you touched on the non-discriminatory evaluation process. So, how will this policy really help me? When it comes on to my performance evaluation, because as a lot of people don't like me, so and my manager probably doesn't like me either.
All right. What this will do now, your manager will be able now to match the quality of work that you produce. So with the evaluation process now, once your work meets, because it would be a grade from about 1 to 5, you will also be given a list of tasks, which is known as your work plan. So these will be the guidelines for you to follow as it relates to your work. And you won't even have to worry about to say that your manager doesn't like you, because we have a non-discriminatory policy that will be now implemented, which will be also aligned to our newly grievance procedure policy, which we also plan to come on board of these updated policies. So all of these things are taken in consideration as the board of directors and the managers can take a look on the papers that were issued before them. They will see that everything is in line and they can follow it stage by stage. So all of these things and all of these issues that we have at peer, we are working toward resolving them. And we also have a timeline in which we are thinking of implementing this in the next 2 to 3 weeks with the approval of management.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So that means it takes
Excuse
the
me, Miss
guesswork.
Jones. I like the performance, the appraisal that you come up with, because appraisal is really a good thing to set or to identify our needs wherever we're lacking. So I like that part that is being implemented.
Very good. So along with that now, it's a grading scheme. So once you pass a certain amount of marks within the grading scheme, now the supervisor will be the one to say that you are qualified for increment. So you will probably get bonus. I'm not even going to be going too deep and in depth in it until when this comes on board and you see the surprise that we have. And all these will be implemented and updated in the employees handbook and on various platforms within the organization once it meets the approval of management.
And we know the employees will love this.
We aim to please. We aim to please.
Sorry, Miss Jones, yeah, I think there's something wrong with your mic, you know. You need to speak more into the microphone.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. A SMART goes for leadership and employment. Now, how will we align our company's policies and strategies while sticking towards the SMART goal? Now, to ensure all employees have a clear, measurable, and achievable goal that are aligned with peer technologies, long-term goal, and individual performance, with the policy guidelines that we have now to be implemented, the goal setting process, that all employees will set a SMART goal. If you're not familiar with the term SMART, it's an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. The goals will be aligned with both your personal development and that of the companies also. So it's a win-win process for both the employee and the company. The goals will be discussed and agreed upon between employees and their management, and this will form a part of the performance management appraisal. The regular goal reviews, like before, we didn't have these things implemented. We didn't have them none at all. So all these things will be aligned with the company's goal, and the employee's individual goal will be linked to peer technology strategic goals, ensuring everyone's efforts contribute to the company's success. And as I said before, it's a win-win process. The goal achieve rate, track the percentage of the employees who meet or exceed their SMART goals, just as I was saying to Mr. Goffe. So once you achieve and meet these SMART goals, the SMART goals now tie in with the appraisal system, in which, as I said before, we're going too much into details. So the documents that are placed before you are more detailed, and they outline the way forward. Now, all of these will form part of the recognition and rewards. You understand me? So we will also track the progress, the employees' progress, employee engagement with biannual surveys, in which we seek your feedback. We will seek the employees' feedback, also stakeholders' feedback. Now, we are gearing these to reducing the retention rate and turnover rates to gauge the success of peer technology, with also the completion rates of training program, where we'll be implementing new training programs as it relates to even the updated policies and the way forward. And we will have a regular compliance audit, because all these things weren't being done before. So my team and I, we went through it, and we did a comprehensive review of this, and this is what we come up with. So I now hand over to Miss Daina-Lee Edwards.
Miss Jones, before you go, when I'm going through the documents that we have here, I realize with all of this, I don't think we will lose any more. The retention will be good this time, so we won't lose any more employees. So we won't have anymore.
Exactly, because the updated policies with the awesome packages, you understand? One of the things that we have implemented also is paternal leave and adoption leave for persons within the organization. Can't go too much in details with it because we're still waiting on the approval, but this is what we have before us right now.
Well, it seems like a good look for us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Miss Jones. All right. So I will be speaking on the change management policy. So the objective of this policy is to ensure that organizational changes are implemented smoothly and employees are adequately supported throughout the transition. So transparent communication about changes. So changes will be communicated with employees as early as possible with a clear explanation of why the changes are happening, how it will affect the business, and what it means for the employees. Communication channels
That
will
sound
also
bad.
Right. So communication channels will also be open for questions and feedback, ensuring that employees feel informed and supported. All right. So managers trained in conflict resolution and employee support.
Long
So
time them to do that.
definitely it's coming. All right. So during the period of changes, employees will have access to training and resources that will help them to adapt to all these new policies. This includes training on new tools, processes, or rules resulting from the change. Managers will also receive specialized training on how to support their teams throughout change, including stress management and communication skills. Align employee goals with peer technology's objective. All right, so HR will offer counseling and coaching sessions for employees who find the transition challenging. Regular feedback will be gathered to ensure that the transition is smooth and that employees' concerns are addressed.
So, Miss Edwards, when you say the managers them are gonna get training, how how long for them training are gonna last? Because some of them really not have the manners, you know. I'm glad to see that and make that be a part of the new policy.
All right, so they will be trained on how to manage conflict and stressful situation, and the training is so it's an ongoing process. So it's not just a one-time thing. It will be at specific intervals, like maybe every 3 months. Um, we will have them train, and then as you mentioned before, we have the performance, the KPIs, which we will use to evaluate how effective the training is. All right, next
It's
slide.
a good look.
All right, so let me talk some more on the conflict management and corrective actions policy before we go into the implementation plan. All right, so the objective of this policy is to address and resolve workplace conflict in a fair, consistent manner and ensure corrective actions are taken when necessary to maintain a productive work environment. So some of these guidelines are, we have conflict resolution initiative taking conflict management. So employees are encouraged to resolve conflicts directly, and managers will facilitate discussions to mediate when necessary. We also have the grievance procedures. A formal grievance procedure will be in place for unresolved conflicts. So HR will investigate and mediate conflicts objectively, ensuring a fair process for all parties involved. So the corrective actions for this, we have the progressive discipline. A progressive discipline approach will be used for addressing performance or behavioral issues. Corrective actions will include verbal warning, written warning, performance improvement plans, suspensions, or even termination, depending on the severity of the conflict. So all corrective actions will be well documented and employees will be given the opportunity to respond to any accusations or concerns. These processes will be transparent and fair. So the parent company will ensure that transparency in all conflict resolution and corrective actions with an emphasis on fairness and consistency across all departments and levels. Right. I am not going to go too much into this. With the document that was shared earlier, you can read through at your own convenience. So I'll now hand over to Mr. Goffe, where he will elaborate some more on implementing these policies.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Edwards. Now, team, we are discussing the policy. Sorry, team. We are discussing the policy. We've discussed the approvals, we've discussed the intended updates, but really and truly, we need to get into the meat of the matter. How do we now implement it? Because we know the approval process already, but how do we get these policies in, and what's our timeline looking like for these updated policies to be company bylaw? Right? Now, we are rolling out a 4-phase implementation plan, right? So phase 1 is preparation and communication. This usually will take us a month. We will finalize policy drafts, communicate with leadership, and plan internal communications. Now, what does that mean, guys? We'll announce the updated policies to the senior leadership team and key stakeholders. We'll conduct training sessions for HR managers and employees on the updated policies, ensuring clear understanding and effective implementation, right? So that's part 1. Phase 2, training and development. Now, we're conducting workshops, learning modules, and establish HR supports. Now, we just spoke about what we're doing in terms of the prep and the rollout, but we're here really discussing training and development. We're really here discussing how do we educate the persons. So from the HR team, we will be conducting workshops, training our team members. We will be providing learning modules through our iLearn platform. We're rolling out a new digital platform that will allow us to learn on the go. You'll be able to review these policies, learn while you're at home. So it's really high tech, and it's for those of us in the know, and we will all be in the know. Right? Phase 3, implementation and monitoring. Now, we can't talk about implementing the policy without actually implementing the policy. So we'll roll out the policies. This is month 3, right? We'll roll out the policies, put them in full effect. We will begin collecting feedback, whole department check-ins. So, we'll be checking your temperature, and when I say checking your temperature, I don't mean like a doctor. So don't think I'm coming with a thermostat or one of those things that we use. No, I'm actually saying we're coming in, seeing how employees are doing, how managers are treating with this, how we are really getting to know the policy. Now, we have our phase 4, which is our evaluation. Now, I didn't put a time limit on this, guys, because our policy will be ongoing, right? Our policies will not end. We will just continue to grow accordingly. Now, phase 4 reviews every 6 months, adjust based on feedback. That is what we are aiming for, right? So putting that into context, team. Right, as we mentioned, phase 1, preparation and communication. We'll do the policy drafts. We have a timeline beginning November 2024. We'll end the end of November 2024, 1 month communication with leadership, planned internal communication, all will be achieved in month number 1. We will conduct our training month number 2, which is the conduct workshops, the learning modules, as I mentioned, the iLearn, and then we'll establish the HR supports, right? So we have these here. We have our implementation and monitoring. We'll roll out the policy. We'll collect the feedback. We'll hold department check-ins. Now we have these for 2025. This is giving us enough time to ensure that everything is cohesive. We have done whatever amendments needed, and we are ready to roll out the policy accordingly. Phase 4, evaluation, ongoing. Right? Now, what does that really entail, right? Because we've implemented the policy, but we must discuss PCOS. And what you may ask is PCOS? PCOS is the picture of success. What will we look like once we've achieved all of our objectives for the company? Now, by successfully implementing these HR policies, Peer Technologies will see one, a high-performing workforce. Employees will be more engaged with clearly defined goals aligned with organizational objectives. Two, reduced conflicts and improve conflict resolutions. Now, workplace conflicts will be addressed promptly, leading to a more harmonious and productive environment. Three, motivated and retained talent. Through effective recognition and career development, employees will feel valued, supported, and that will result in higher retention and reduced turnover. Four, effective change management. The company will adapt smoothly to changes with employees on board. So that's supportive. So employees who are on board and are supportive of the transition, we will see them adapting smoothly to the changes. And five, which is very important for us, legal and compliance adherence. Now, policies will meet all legal requirements, reducing the risks for the companies. So, as a company, we have to be compliant with the laws of the land. We have to be compliant with everything that is going on. So we cannot be just leaving ourselves exposed. We have to protect the company. We have to protect our employees. We have to protect all our stakeholders, and we have to protect our future. So, take it away for us. Our senior director will give us our conclusion and our call to action.
Thank you, Mr. Goffe. As Ms. Edwards would have said before, what is the purpose of this updated HR policy at Peer Technologies? And the purpose is to establish the comprehensive framework that supports the company's growth strategic objective during a period of significant workforce expansion. That's the changes that we are going through right now, with the aim to create a cohesive and inclusive work environment that fosters the employees' engagement and to enhance their performance, and while keeping in mind to ensure full compliance with the laws of the country, the laws that are also applicable to the changing. Keeping in mind also driving success through the updated policies to support the expansion with structured HR policy, also to enhance productivity, engagement, and organizational growth with a commitment to continuous improvement for sustained success. That is what we hope to achieve. And with this new updated policy, once we get the go-ahead from management and stakeholders, it will be a driving force of success for Peer Technologies and its employee. For any further information that you have, you can contact any one of my team members via the numbers and the website that is provided. I hope and I wish and I know that you will find this updated policies which suits to the organization, keeping in mind the employees who are the backbone of Peer Technologies. Do have yourself a wonderful day from myself and my team members.